Joining us live via Skype tonight is Dr. Blair Reece from ETSU's Quillen College of Medicine. Thanks again for joining us today, Dr. Reece.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, a lot of divisiveness right now with Governor Lee's announcement that he's going to slowly start rebooting the economy. Do you think that we are at a point where we can safely start that?
You know, I don't know. None of us, unless you're 102 and older, have ever lived through a pandemic, so we don't know. I do wish the testing was a little bit better in our area, but we do have to start opening the economy at some point and opening businesses at some point. We don't know if case numbers are going to go up. I think it's reasonable to try, but we all need to be prepared that if we do start seeing a lot of spread of this disease when we start opening things back up, we may have to start some of the more restrictive policies again, and we may have to shelter in place again.
That answers my next question. If you expect a rise in cases once our economy starts to reopen and businesses start to reopen.
I think there is a good chance. My hope is that there's not. I certainly hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Sure.
But there is a chance. And that being said, I am advising my patients that have chronic medical illness, that are older, that they do go ahead and continue to shelter in place, even as our state opens back up, if they are able, in case we do see a rise in cases.
Well, let's say we do see a rise in cases, a possible surge. Do you think our hospitals are prepared to handle a surge in cases should this happen?
So we are much more prepared today than we were a month ago when this all first started. Any surge has the potential to overwhelm the system. If we get tens of thousands of cases, sure, the system can be overwhelmed. But I do think that we are much, much more prepared today, and that hopefully we would be able to handle it.
Sure. Do you think we should start testing more people for the antibodies? There's been some discussion about that lately to see who may have had it and may not have known it. Could that even help us in this whole process?
I think it's a little too early for that. The problem is that even if we test everybody for antibodies, we think that those antibodies are providing long-term protection, but we can't even say that for sure yet. So sure. I think antibody testing may be a path forward in the future, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
Are we seeing yet, and I know, again, it's early, are we starting to see any trends from this aggressive statewide testing, the free testing that we have started in our state? Have we seen anything from that yet?
So there was a bump in cases today for the state as a whole. I think about 450 new cases, and most days we've been more about 200 cases a day. We have not seen a bump in our area yet, though, and we do have a lot of the results back from the weekend, is my understanding, and we have not seen a large bump, which is good news.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that says anything about how we're handling things here in East Tennessee, or is that just an anomaly?
I hope so. I mean, I hope that is a reflection that we are social distancing and staying at home. And I think that we didn't have a ton of cases in Northeast Tennessee when we started this, and so we had a little bit of a head start on the rest of the state.
And the testing is now free for everyone. But as a doctor, are you hoping that there is a certain group of people who should be tested or who should take advantage of this free testing?
I would just encourage anybody with any symptoms that are out of the ordinary to get tested. We know that the most common symptoms are cough, fever, shortness of breath, muscle aches, but we also know that this disease can cause strange skin findings, can cause abdominal complaints. So anyone that has any symptoms, even if they seem mild, I would recommend to go ahead and get tested.
We have to keep in mind, and I know it's exciting that our economy may be rebooting here in the next several days. How important is it for people to keep in mind that we still need to be very careful, we still need to be very cautious, because this is still very much a thing in our area and everywhere, really?
It is, and this is going to be a thing probably for the next 12 months until we get a vaccine. And so I, urge cautious optimism, and people need to be prepared that this may be a situation of 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. We're going to, I have confidence that all of our leaders, governors, mayors, everyone are making the best decisions they possibly can with the information they have, but none of us have a crystal ball. And so we're going to have to see how each small decision we make impacts our future number of cases and make decisions thereafter.
It seems to be a very fine line to walk between keeping everybody healthy and keeping our economy healthy, because so many people are relying on our economy opening back up.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, I am incredibly grateful that I am not the president, the governor, a mayor, and making those decisions, because they are incredibly challenging. And, I hope that we as a community continue to support our decision makers and follow their recommendations. And if we make a misstep, and if we find that maybe it was too early, for example, that we all are understanding of that and then follow the further recommendations if we need to shelter in place again.
What advice are you giving your patients and people who just come up to you and ask you for advice, being a medical provider, as our economy is reopening? What advice would you give to people as far as how, what they should do if they are a little bit worried about, still getting this virus?
If you can stay home is still my recommendation. This virus is still out there. It is still in our community. So if you were able to stay home, I would definitely encourage you to continue to do that. This is not the time to have a party and to celebrate the end of COVID-19. We are not there yet. I will be the first person to tell you when we are there, and we should all get together and celebrate, but we are not there yet.
Hopefully we're getting closer. The more we do, the more we social distance, the more we stay home. Dr. Blair Reece, you are a wonderful resource for us. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back. Stay with us.